Okay, so I know more people are going to keep jumping on, but let's go ahead and get started. I'm excited to have Robin Sullivan on our call tonight. And she's one of, I don't know if you guys, if you've been in Plexus a while, there's always people you see pictures and posts and you're like, I want to meet that person. And so I was always that way with Robin. And I've always thought, Robin, I don't know like your whole story, but I've always thought you look like this newscaster. Like you just have like that, like TV kind of like look, like you just, I don't know. I just love your appearance and I loved your photo shoot that you did. So anyways, I was always like, I want to meet her. So I met her, I think I met you back at convention, but then in Hawaii, we got to sit by the pool and talk. And that's probably one of the best parts of going to Hawaii is just getting to talk with people and just relax. So I'm excited to have her on tonight. So I'm just going to turn it over to you, Robin, and we will learn from you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for asking me to be on your team call. I always enjoy hopefully inspiring people and just telling my story because I do feel like my journey has been a little bit different from the average person on the DDD team, a DDD jewel, so to speak. And so I'm going to begin by just giving you a little bit of background of who I am, how I got to learn about Plexus, how I started, and how I became a jewel. So, and then from there, we'll just, if you want to jot down questions, and if you, Kimber, and then anybody else on the call, if you have questions, just jot them down, and I'm more than happy to share tips and nuggets because I've got lots of them. So, like Kimber said, my name is Robin Sullivan. I am an Emerald Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide. Jen Hawkins, who I think is you guys' upline as well, I am her level 3. So I am her level 3 on her diamond leg, not her sapphire leg. So I'm not sure we're on her sapphire leg, Kimber.
No, we're on her diamond leg. We're under her mom. Her mom is my sponsor.
Yeah, I did know that. I just didn't know if it was diamond or the sapphire leg. But I know a little bit about just because Jen and I have become friends, I kind of forced Jen to be my mentor. I didn't have a lot of upline support, honestly. And so when I was a gold ambassador, I quit my job, and I'll talk a little bit about that, me quitting my career as a gold ambassador, which is kind of crazy for most people. But when I quit, I felt like, okay, I've got to treat this like a business. And so I really reached out to Jen. She had heard of me through her direct downline. Tara Penny is who I'm under, but not directly. And so I just became I was mentored by Jen Hawkins, and then I won the photo shoot on her diamond leg last May. And so I learned a lot about Kimber and Kimber's mom without Kimber even knowing about. Just talked about rock stars in the business, and Kimber was one of them. So I was happy to finally connect with you in Hawaii, even though we'd met each other and seen each other in passing at different events. But I learned about Plexus in September of 2013. I was a very stressed out assistant principal at a high need school in McKinney, Texas. It's a suburb of Dallas. So for those of you coming to visit us in Dallas for Leaders Retreat, I'm just a stone throws away from where Celeste Gwynn lives. So I tell you guys that because a lot of you may think, oh my gosh, she's in like Plexus heaven up there or down here in Texas. And, Plexus is not saturated by any of the imagination. I know this for a fact because, honest goodness, Celeste Gwynn lives about 20 minutes away from my home, and where she shops many times, and she posts about it many times. I don't know if you or Anthropology, but the store Anthropology is about 10 minutes away from my house. So it's closer to my house than it is to her house. And when I tell you, I shop there all the time, and I talk to people and have added many people from my team who work in that shopping complex. And if you do a survey when you come to Dallas, I'm telling you, just ask random people in DFW if they've ever heard of Plexus, and they will tell you no, I've never heard of it. And so don't ever think that this company is saturated, because if it's not saturated in Dallas, Texas, it there. So I became introduced to Plexus in September of 2013. I had taken a job as a principal at a high need school here in Dallas. And it was myself and 2 other principals that had been named the administrators of the school. And it was kind of a turnaround school. The school had been taken over by the state. And so with a lot of hesitation, I took the position, was happy to take it because I have a heart for underprivileged kids, and it was a Title I campus. Problem was taking a lot of time. I was working at the school between 55 and 70 hours a week. And it was crazy. I have 2 daughters, 6 and 9, and I was becoming like a stress eating fool. I was eating spicy chicken sandwich meal deals from Wendy's about 5 days a week. I was not preparing my lunch. I wasn't eating breakfast. I was just like, I felt like I didn't have time to pack a lunch. I was working literally the second I walked school building. From the time I got there to the time I left, I was working literally the entire time. I was really in crisis management mode. And so my direct sponsor, who was the principal of this school, I was her assistant principal, she found out about Plexus from her friend in Oklahoma. And I was not really skeptical about Plexus because I had never taken supplements before. So it wasn't like I had been on this, weight loss train before. I'm pretty small framed, but I had just gained a lot of excess fat. We do have kind of a big people's genes in my family. So I'm probably the smallest person in my family. So I knew I had it in me. I knew it was in the gene pool for me to get large. And my dad died when I was 29 years of age. He was only 63. And so I knew I was headed down the wrong path health-wise if I didn't get my act together. And so I did a little bit of research on Plexus, not a ton, because if I'm eating spicy chicken sandwich with Dr. Peppers, I mean, how bad can it get? Okay. So I knew that the products weren't get skinny quick though. And that's really what attracted me to Plexus. I didn't want to put synthetic chemicals in my body just for the sake of getting skinny fast. And so that was my draw initially. I knew it was created for type 2 diabetics. So I knew what stabilizing blood sugar would do for you, even though I wasn't diabetic or pre-diabetic or insulin resistant. And so I started as a wholesale ambassador. I honestly didn't know that Plexus was a business. I didn't know it was multi-level marketing. I just thought I was dumb. I thought I was joining like a Costco. I just thought, I want the cheapest discount. Okay, I'll sign up to get the 2, at the time I bought the $199 welcome pack. And so to me, that was the biggest bang for my buck. So that's how I got going. Within a couple of days, really within the first 2 weeks, I was noticing a significant difference in my energy level, significant difference in the restful sleep that I was getting. And I started losing fat inches. The first 2 months, I only lost 2 pounds. But I lost 19 inches of fat. And I always tell people this part of my story, because if you are beginning your journey or you feel like your journey is moving slowly in the area of weight loss, you've got to A, take your pictures monthly, and B, you have to measure yourself. I never started this for a business, so I wasn't taking pictures or taking measurements because I was trying to create some before and after, because I really honestly didn't know this was a business. I was doing it because I was cheap, y'all. I wanted to see if I could get my money's worth. I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to spend $100 a month on this stuff, I'm going to do it right. And so I was taking the products every single day. I was measuring myself weekly. My mom lives with me, so she would measure me weekly. I would write it down on my measurement chart. And those 19 inches of fat got me so excited, because if I had only been looking at the scale, I would have been so demotivated and really discouraged in my journey, but I wasn't, because I knew those 19 inches of fat was huge, because my clothes started fitting differently. My face was thinning out. Ultimately, I lost 30 pounds and 30 inches, went from a size 10, 12 to a size 0, and I have maintained that for 3 years. And I simply started sharing on Facebook. That's how I got started. I really honestly started treating it, well, I really wasn't even treating it like a business at the time. The reason why I started doing Plexus on Facebook, started sharing, is because my sister who lives, I have 3 sisters and 2 brothers, and all 3 of my sisters live in Atlanta. And my sister heard me post. She saw me posting about Plexus on Facebook. The reason why I started posting on Facebook is because my sponsor told me that her first check was $450. And I was floored. I was like, huh? Like, in 1 month, she earned $450. And I knew she wasn't doing anything besides posting on Facebook, because I was at work with her every day, all day. Like we were literally at school together, living at the school. And so when she told me that, I said, okay, well, this chick doesn't have anything on me. Like if she can make $500 in a month, I can make $500 in a month. So I got over my fear and I started posting on social media. And I will say that was probably one of the biggest mistakes I made in my business, is not posting on social media immediately and not posting consistently either. I was posting about 3 days a week. I was kind of a Facebook snob. I would only friend people or if they friended me. Like, so I wouldn't seek out friends on Facebook because I wasn't a big Facebooker. So that's another tip for you. A lot of you think, oh, well, I'm just not really big on Facebook and I don't do a lot on Facebook, so it's going to look weird for me to start posting. I wasn't either. I was one of those stalkers. I didn't post a lot. I would occasionally post, maybe family pictures or my kids, every now and again, but I wasn't a regular poster. And I was pretty much a stalker because I wouldn't even like and comment on people's posts. But I created a social media presence once I found a reason to, right? And this is a great reason to start because this is a free marketing tool. So when I saw that she made this cash, this $450 her first month, that's what prompted me to kind of get over my fear a little bit. And I say a little bit only because I wasn't posting every single day because I was being snobby about it. I was like, well, I'm not going to overwhelm my friends and post every day about this, but I'll post a couple days a week. Okay. And so big, huge mistake. Because if I had gone trails ablazing in the very beginning of my journey, I probably would be diamond by now. Because at the time in 2013, nobody knew about plexus, like nobody. And so that's the reason why a lot of the Beth Anderson, a lot of people that signed up under Jen and Celeste right in the beginning around 2013. That's why they're all diamonds now, because they did what their sponsor told them to do. I didn't do that because no one was really telling me to do anything. I just was copying off what my sponsor did, which was posting occasionally. So I began sharing. I started getting immediate interest. And one thing that really got me convinced that this was a lot bigger than what I was seeking plexus out for, which was vanity, weight loss, was when I was added to these support groups and testimonials pages and plexus journeys. And I just got really nosy and I started reading these testimonies and I was really floored. I was like, I cannot believe so much life change is happening with these people and these products. Cause I was just taking it for weight loss. I wasn't taking it to lower blood pressure, cholesterol, all the things that we know plexus does. It's not compliant. We can't talk about it on Facebook anymore, but we know that plexus does these things because it's all about body balancing, decreasing inflammation in the body, and then repairing and healing the gut. And so I started sharing what I was learning. I'm pretty much a big geek. I was a science teacher before I became a principal, and I just started sharing with people authentically what I was learning on this journey. And so that's what got people attracted to what I was doing. So after about 7 months, close to 9 months of sharing, actually, because I started the beginning of the school year in 2013, like September, and by around May, I was a gold ambassador. I think I became a gold ambassador maybe in March or April. I can't remember. So it took me 7 months to go gold. And this was without me really even trying. And so if you're strategically treating this like a business, a lot of times it doesn't take you that long to get to gold if you're actually really treating this like a business. I was not doing that. Me posting 3 days a week and never reaching out to anybody and just waiting for people to come to me is not working your business. So that's a tip I want to give you guys, because a lot of people think, okay, well, I'm posting every day and I'm watching and seeing who's liking my post. That's not really actively working your business. That's a passive way to work your business. Because I started in 2013, me passively working my business, honestly, guys, it gained me or granted me a $2,000 paycheck as a gold ambassador. I was a very weak gold ambassador, but just me posting, because no one knew about plexus at the time, especially in my circle and sphere of influence in my demographic, people were coming to me and asking me about these products. And so they didn't have anybody else to go to. So they were coming to me. So I was just gaining customers, gaining wholesale ambassadors. I wasn't gaining any business builders because I wasn't seeking business builders. That's another tip I'm going to talk about. I wasn't seeking business builders because I didn't think I was building a business, right? I was just passively working this thing. But I was making about $2,000 a month by the end of the school year. And I was like, wait a second. If I actually treated this like a business, what could happen? Like, what could happen to this opportunity? Could this be a lot bigger than what I'm thinking about now? And so it's like after this light bulb moment, it's like somehow I gained some sort of, revelation. And I decided, I think I need to put my money where my mouth is. I had talked about for years, because I have a high level of faith, but I always felt like I was never pushed to really test my level of faith, because I'd all the right way. I went to school, I got married, I had kids, I did things in the right order, quote unquote. And so God had never really truly tested my level of faith, or I never put myself in a position for my level of faith to be tested. So I said, Lord, I think it's time for me to really exercise what true faith is. And so I resigned from my position as an assistant principal. I was a very weak gold ambassador. I say weak because I had 20 wholesale ambassadors. I didn't have one business builder, not two, not three. I had 0 business builders. I just had 20 people that wanted their products at a discount. So I was really quitting my job on a wing and a prayer. Like, Lord, I don't know, what will happen with this opportunity, but I'm going to put this in your hands, and I'm going to work like it depends on me, but I'm going to pray like it depends on you. And that's really what changed my business. So I resigned from my position as assistant principal, as a gold ambassador, and I really put my head down and I got to work. And 14 months after I walked away from my career is when I became an Emerald Ambassador with Plexus. When I started treating my business like a real business is when my business changed. So that's one of the things I really want to talk to you guys about tonight, is making a decision about where you want to go in this business and starting to really prepare yourself to have an executive mindset and to live in entrepreneurial time instead of living in bureaucratic time. Most of us work for an employer, okay? So we are trading time for money. And when you are a business owner, when you're an entrepreneur, there are going to be many times, especially guys, and this was me in the beginning of my business, where I was not being compensated commensurate to the time that I was putting in. And so that's going to happen with any business, any brick and mortar business, any traditional business, any network marketing business. You're going to have that same thing happen, okay, where you're going to have a period of time that you're putting lots of hours in, and you may not see a paycheck coming in that's commensurate to that. With Plexus, it is actually very different, especially in comparison to a lot of other network marketing companies, because you can start seeing cash come in very quickly. But for a lot of people, they feel like if I'm putting 5 hours of work in, I want to make sure that I'm getting paid for that 5 hours of time. But 5 hours of time, you're not necessarily going to get that on the front end, but you will get it on the back end, because now as an Emerald Ambassador, I'm sure Kimber can attest to the same thing. Many days you're like, oh my gosh, how did I gain an $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 paycheck this month? Like, not to say that we're not working, because clearly we work our businesses. Now I'm very serious about my business, even now more than ever before. But you have the time freedom that most people will never have. And so that's what I was seeking. I honestly wasn't even seeking financial freedom. I was seeking time freedom. I was tired of trading time for money, and I was tired of me pouring into other people's kids more than I was pouring into my own kids. So that's really what propelled me in my business, is treating this like a real business. Everything changes when you do that. So that is my story. My timeline is not as quick and as fast as a lot of people that you see highlighted on the DDD page. I had a lot of sideline sisters that last year in 2015, they qualified. Dozens and dozens and dozens of jewels qualified in July of 2015. And I went Emerald in August of 2015. Want to talk about heartbreaking. It was super sad, but you know what? It made my story that much sweeter and the victory that much sweeter, because at the end of the day, I was in Kona, Hawaii this year with Kimber and many other jewels, and me missing it that 1 year, that didn't put me in such of a slump that I decided, well, hey, I'm not really going to work hard for this. I felt like, okay, if I got that close in July, then heck, you best believe I'm going to go in August. And that's exactly what happened. I went up 500 points in 1 month and ranked to Emerald. And I definitely don't regret that, because at the time when I went Emerald, I had no idea that they were going to be building this brand new facility, the headquarters, and going to be laying bricks that kind of pave the way into the entrance of Plexus World Headquarters. And I'm so glad that I did, because the only people that are on those bricks are the jewels that made it up to August of 2015. So look at God's provision, right? Like that's a legacy that I get to leave for my kids for a lifetime. And so I just want to encourage you guys, if you have a desire, which clearly if you're on this call, you have a desire to go somewhere in this business, I just encourage you to really draw your line in the sand, treat this business like a business. There are so many opportunities, especially this month, guys. If you have not reached the rank of silver, gold, senior gold, ruby, senior ruby, or if you have lost rank and you want to re-rank, it cannot get any better than the incentive that Plexus has offered us this month. So I just want to encourage you. We are not even mid-month yet. You have got everything it takes to reach whatever goals you have. You just have to get your plan together, do your 5-3-1. I didn't have anybody telling me any of this stuff, by the way, when I was trying to go Emerald. Like nobody telling me this. But doing a consistent income producing activity every single day is the name of the game. And I will say this, the one thing that has really given me the most success in my business is belief in myself, belief in these products, belief in this opportunity, belief in our company, but also consistency in working your business. You're sending a signal to your Facebook audience and your team if you don't consistently work your business, but you're also consistently sending a message if you are. So either way, you're sending a message. You've just got to make a decision. What message do you want to send to the people in your sphere of influence? So I hope this was helpful, Kimber. I'm totally open to answering tons of questions, but that's my story.
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, it's always, you love hearing the people who go fast and hearing all about it, but yeah, it's so refreshing to hear when it's not that super speedy, like, how in the world did that happen?
Of nature. Yeah, I'm always
Yeah. Does anybody else, I mean, I have a few questions. Shannon, do you have any that came to your mind? And does anybody have any questions? You guys can type it below. You can actually ask her if you want.
I don't, but Robin, thank you. I'm still thinking about questions. So as you guys are thinking about yours, I just wanted to say hi because I didn't get to meet you in Kona, but I was there. So
how are you?
I'm doing well. Yeah. This is awesome. I love your story. I love just what you did for a living before. I'm like so excited. I want a teacher and I want I want somebody who works in the schools on my team. And that has to drive to resign from their job and, do what it takes to make a career out of Plexus. I just love that. So
are you still working full time as a teacher?
No, I'm not. I said I want a teacher on my team.
Gotcha. Yeah. Teachers ultimately end up doing very well in this business, I think, for lots of reasons. But I definitely think you hit the nail on the head, Shannon. It takes a certain amount of drive. And so that kind of leads me to wanting to talk to you guys about this. I think a lot of people, they think that they have to have some rock star to help catapult them to emerald, jewel, or sapphire. Emerald, sapphire, or diamond status. And I want to give you guys a different perspective on that because I am kind of tanned. I'm African American, if you didn't know, and I'm working with a demographic that's really hard. Our demographic, for many reasons, we aren't as focused on health as we should be because a lot of African Americans are really just surviving. There's a lot of mothers that are in single parent households, and they are raising their kids by themselves. They're working 2 and 3 jobs. And those statistics are higher in the minority community than they are in a Caucasian community. And so we're just fighting a lot of different battles. So we're dealing with the issue of finances, not having the money for Plexus, not really focusing on health because that's secondary to you just wanting to keep the lights on and pay the bills every month, right? Mm-hmm. There's also issues with, this idea of vanity. Like I was always small in nature. Like that was just, I've always been small bone. My mom is really small, but everybody else in my family is big. And most people in my family like being big. Like they don't care about being skinny. Like black girls like big butts. And so That's not a big thing for us. Like, we don't care about getting skinny. And so there's lots of battles that we're fighting in the African-American community as far as trying to catapult yourself in a business like this. And so I just want to encourage you guys, if you feel like you have to find that rock star, you really don't. You need to be that rock star. And that's kind of what I determined for myself early on in my journey. I said, I'm not going to wait on some rock star to come around. I'm just going to be that rock star. I'm going to be the person that is always going to strive to have the highest PV. I'm going to be the person that always strives to gain the most ambassadors every month and go silver every single month. That's just going to be my own personal goal. And then I'll start to attract the people of who I've become. Does that make sense? And so for me, that has really helped my business because I have almost 150 level ones. And when I went Emerald, I had 100 level ones, almost exactly 100 level ones, like 98, 99, 100 level ones. So I had a whole lot of people doing a little bit. Does that make sense? And so I don't have any higher than a senior gold ambassador on my team. And a lot of people think, wow, like, how is that even possible? It is very possible. There's rock stars, total rock stars like Tamara Holloway. I don't know if you guys know this about her, but she went diamond without a jewel. And that is mind-blowing, but it's possible. There's a billion different ways to skin a cat. So for you to go into this journey thinking, oh my gosh, I can't do anything until I go and find that rock star. No, just be your own rock star and you can get wherever you want to in this business. So anyway, I'm glad you shared that, Shannon.
Yeah, that's so good. One of the questions that's coming to my mind is just about, you talked about having the executive mindset. And for you, what were the switches that happened to go from it was a business, but you didn't necessarily work it as a business, to that executive mindset that really made a big difference?
Well, like I told you, I think that it was just like a light bulb moment for me. When I looked at my check and I was like, wait a second, I'm making half of what I make as an assistant principal and I'm a gold ambassador. So something in my mind just started calculating numbers. And I was like, okay, well, if I actually treated this like a real business, then what can I really do with this? Mm-hmm. So when I said I was going to treat it like a business, I just decided that, hey, look, this is going to take a lot of focus. It's going to take a lot of dedication. It's going to take a lot of commitment, a lot of sacrifice. This is not a lottery ticket. Every single person that joins my team, I tell them that if you want this to work, you have to know that this is not a lottery ticket. You have to work for this. If it was easy, it'd be sleazy, and it's not. Like, this is legit. And so I tell people that, and I continue to encourage my team on that particular topic, because I think a lot of people, they think, well, maybe I'll be the lucky one. Maybe I'll be the lucky one. And why I'm so grateful for the journey that I have had, even though obviously there's times that you try to compare yourself and you think, man, why couldn't my journey be this easy or easier than this? But I'm very grateful for my journey, simply because I feel like I have a true example to set for my team, that they can't say, oh, well, Robin got there, but I'm not going to be able to do it, because I was able to do it with a lot of people doing just a little bit, and me trying to be my own rock star and not necessarily having that one single rock star on my team that catapulted me to diamond, right? So as far as me treating it like a business, though, I really equated it to this, Kimber. I thought about, okay, if I want to be a diamond ambassador, the average income for a diamond is $452,000 a year, correct? Okay, based on our income disclosure statement. So with that in mind, I was like, well, that's pretty much more than a brain surgeon. So if I think that I'm going to make $450,000 a year, which, by the way, even if I became the superintendent of schools of the biggest school district in Texas, not even Dallas, in Texas, I would never make $452,000 a year, okay? Nor would I ever want the job of superintendent, okay? It was a big enough headache being assistant principal. So in my mind, I was like, okay, well, if I want to reach this level of success in my business, I have to actually put the time in to become an expert. And so persistency is what helps you with that. Like, when you're persistent and becoming a student of the industry, a student of the products. And that's what I did. I immersed myself. I became a student of the products. I learned these products backwards and forwards. And that's just my own personal, that was what I wanted to do. I'm not saying you have to do that to make it to Emerald, Sapphire, or Diamond, but it was just, for me, it was a lot about educating my community, because I had to add value to what I was doing. So I had to educate my community on why gut health and inflammation and blood sugar instability is so important, and why preventative care is so important. I had to add value to that. And so I became a student of the industry, a student of the products, a student of network marketing, a student of Plexus Worldwide. And the personal development for me, I think is really what helped me to frame that executive mindset. Because at the end of the day, if I'm going to make close to $500,000 a year, I will have had to earn it, right? I mean, we don't get lucky in a business like this. Very rarely do you get lucky in a business like this. It's about your persistency and consistency and working your business every single day. So anyway, I hope that was helpful.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that perspective. And the other thing that just comes to my mind is, even for me, looking at, you look at Jen Hawkins and the people at the top of the company, and I always say you feel like you see this like gold, like literally glittering off their body, and everybody says yes to them. But like, do you get people who don't respond to your messages?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. Like every day. Okay. Do you have people say no?
Every day, all day.
Yes. So I just always love like what you're talking about. It's so right. And it's like when we look at people like you, like who would say no to her? But just realizing that you're just like the rest of us. We get no replies. We get no's. We get people who are not kind sometimes. And so anyways, I love that executive mindset. The way that you described it is awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I think that, I can't remember the lady's name at convention. She was at Leaders Retreat as well. The real funny lady. What was her name?
Oh, I don't remember.
The old lady.
Yes. I can't remember at all.
Rita Davenport?
Rita Davenport. Thank you.
Melissa, thank you, girl, for remembering. Rita Davenport, when she said at convention, all these people sitting on the floor, they're just a bunch of biggest losers. Like, we're just the biggest losers. And that's so true. Like, the reason why you have diamonds sitting up on that stage or standing up on that stage is because they have got more no's than anybody. I honestly believe you have to go for no. When you start to have a mindset that you're not really worried about the outcome, you're just wanting to invite people to take a look at what you have to offer. And you don't care about what the outcome is, because eventually you're going to get to a yes. So I say, and I train my team, you need to be going for no. That needs to be your goal. Like, you need to be excited when you get no's, because those no's are getting you that much closer to your yes. The bottom line is that when you present this opportunity to people, you're giving them a vision test. That's all I see it as. You're giving them a vision test. Can you see what I see? Can I cast a vision for you? And there are going to be some people that will see what you see immediately. There are going to be some people who see what you see 6 months down the road, 18 months down the road, 3 years down the road. There are going to be some people that will never see what you see. But all you have to do when you're given that vision test is say, okay, regardless of what your response is, I'm still going to keep moving forward. I'm still going to keep my eyes on the prize and stay focused and tunnel vision to what I'm trying to accomplish in my own business. Because at the end of the day, everyone is going to get to their 12 o'clock at some point. I always liken, everybody getting to the point where they're willing and able and open to listening to what you have to offer as far as Plexus goes. They'll get there. They'll get there at some point. They'll get to their 12 o'clock at some point. It's just a matter of time. So you just have to keep planting the seeds, keep watering those seeds, and eventually you will bear fruit.
I love the vision test. That is just awesome. I love it. I've never heard that before. It's so good. Okay. Is anybody else, Shannon, anybody else have any last remarks? I'm excited. I wanted you to keep talking, but I know we usually try to keep it to 30 minutes, but I love what the things you're talking about.
Robin, I know you talked about this, but I can't think of another time in our business that we would feel so heartbroken and disappointed than missing July 31st qualification. And I would love, because I know I have people on our team that are like, I missed gold by 10 points, or I missed, and I would just love to even hear just a tad bit more of how, like, what did you do August 1st? Did you let yourself cry for like a day, or were you like, how did you do that mindset shift? Because that's kind of what we're focusing on this month is our mindset. And obviously you had a major mindset shift and you were like, nope, this is not going to hold me down. So I would love to hear.
That's a good question. No one's ever asked me that before, Shannon. So The only reason why I was really pushing to go Emerald by July 31st was because of Jen Hawkins, I'll be honest with you. I had just come from doing the photo shoot with Melissa Putnam, my good friend, and Kate Owen Wilson, and I think it was just the three of us, right? And that was in May. I went to Denver. Had a great time with Jen, had a great time with the girls, and I came back and Jen and I talked over the phone probably 1st of June. It was like maybe right after convention. And she was like, you're going to shoot for Emerald, aren't you? And I was like, by July 31st, I don't know about that. I mean, because I knew I was going to have to jump up over 500 points because I went senior Ruby May 31st. Okay. So right before convention, I went senior Ruby. So I was able to go on the stage as senior Ruby because I think at the time when you were senior Ruby, you got on the stage. I don't think they did that this year because it's gotten too big. But I was excited. I had just hit senior Ruby. I had missed senior Ruby. I thought I was going to be senior Ruby in May. I don't know if you remember that, Melissa, because Kate, my sideline sister Kate, who's on Jen's Sapphire leg, she had just gone senior Ruby before we got to Denver for the photo shoot, and I was still Ruby. And so I was dealing with that, struggling with my mindset with that whole thing because she was already senior Ruby and I was still Ruby in May. By May 31st, the end of May, after I got back from the photo shoot, I ranked up to senior Ruby. So went to convention, super excited as senior Ruby. My team was on fire. And I said, okay, what do I have to lose? I'm just going to go for it. I mean, this is almost next to impossible, but I'm going to go for it anyway. And so I did. And I mean, that was me basically jumping from 750 to 1500 in 2 months because that was June and July. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's obviously the month of July, those people would already needed to really qualify the month before. Okay. So this was almost next to a miracle that it would have even happened. But for some people, I'm sure, maybe it did happen for them. So I did not hit. I didn't really schedule it this way, but my family and I went to San Antonio, Texas for a very short weekend vacation because we live in Dallas. It's about 4 hours away. So thank God I was away and with my family on July 31st when all these rank ups were happening. I didn't block any of my friends and I didn't get off of Facebook, but I was very hurt. I mean, I was heartbroken because literally every single one of my sideline sisters that were already senior Ruby with me, they all ranked to Emerald. Like every single one ranked to Emerald. And so I was devastated. But August 1st, like literally I just was like, I'm doing this. I didn't get there July. I'm going to get there in August. And it was actually that month that Jen Hawkins had asked me to do the DDD call. Wow. And I did the DDD call that month and as a senior Ruby, and I did this whole entire 20-minute call on the circle maker. If you haven't read this book, I highly recommend it. It was life-changing for me. It's by Mark Batterson, but it's all about like circling your biggest dreams and your biggest fears in prayer. And so that's what I did the month of August. I rallied my team together, and they really rallied around me more than ever. And we went up 530 points in 1 month. And it was surreal. But every single day that month, I worked like a crazy person. Like, this does require sacrifice. And that's just it. I mean, I don't know any other way to describe this. But you're going to have to make a decision that your life is going to be a little bit unbalanced, especially when you're trying to do what I did. I was relying solely on me and the people on my team that were all doing a little bit. It wasn't like I had in my back pocket, oh, I've got this, this rock star that she's trying to rank up with me. Like it wasn't like that at all. It was like just me trying to get, 20 other level ones that were business builders to rally together and work towards their own goals in their business. And so I just encourage you guys, if I could pull away from not going Emerald by July 31st and watching all my girlfriends go to Maui, Hawaii last year, and then still rank up the following month, God has his hand in your business and you need to rely on that. But you also have to take into consideration that God wants you to earn this too. And so he wants you to lean on him and trust him, but also work like it depends on you. So Yeah. Thanks for asking that question. No one's asked me that before, Sheena.
Yeah. Well, it's just part of it's part of your story. It's what makes your story awesome. And I just keep telling people that, I've set goals and then missed them, and it's just part of your story, and you're going to be able to impact somebody else. So I know that you have and will. And so that's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, that was an awesome question. Well, thank you so much, Robin. I loved it. I loved every second. Thank you for taking your time and getting on with us to share.
You're so welcome. I always enjoy sharing, and I appreciate you guys' friendship. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. I can't wait for the rest of our team to see this. So you have a wonderful night.
You too, guys. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Robin.
See you, Robin.
See y'all at Leaders Retreat.
Yes.
Yes.